Hey guys, so more ghost time. Today we'll be listening to Cirice, and yes, that's how the band, pronounce it. Um, Now, the art I've seen for this song or the album or whatever is very reminiscent of something. You can actually see part of it right up there in that thumbnail. A woman's face with a butterfly on their mouth kind of reminds you of this. And when you say Cirice, although the uh I believe Latin term or the term of it means church, when given the artwork for it and you say Cerise, what else does that sound like? Perhaps Clarice, who is, Jodie Foster's character in Silence of the Lambs. Will this have anything to do with Silence of the Lambs? I don't know, but just the art with the butterfly on the mouth, the fact that Cerise sounds like Clarice, the fact that they do draw inspiration from movies, old classic movies. Um, Silence of the Lambs definitely classic, and it was really not revolutionary, but just the character of Hannibal Lecter, because you knew he was a bad person, but at the time with Clarice, you didn't know whose side he was on. You don't know if he was defending Buffalo Bill. You don't know if he was trying to help Clarice. You didn't know. You just knew that this guy was crazy and he was in jail and locked up in solitary confinement for a reason. But will it have anything to do with the movie? I don't know. I'm just going on what I saw in art and the fact that Cerise sounds like Clarice. But here we go.
Hurry up, Cirice. We're going to be late.
I feel your presence amongst us. You cannot hide in the darkness. Can you hear the rumble? Can you hear the rumble that's calling?
Okay, I just have to say, if it was thing based on Silence of the Lambs, I would have loved to seen someone come out here and have some liver with some fava beans and a nice candy. But instead, we've got a little papa out here with some tiny nameless ghouls. And I mean, I guess that's the next best choice. I would have loved to see some fava beans and, the liver and the candy, but this is good enough. Honestly, at first, it's kind of giving like Carrie vibes. Like someone's gonna be on stage and they're getting freaking blood poured on them, but apparently that didn't happen. So
I know your soul is not tainted, even though you've been told so. Can you hear the rumble? you hear the rumble that's calling? I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the scars inside you. I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the scars inside you. A candle casting a faint glow. You and I see eye to eye. Can you hear the thunder? I can hear the thunder that's breaking. Now there is nothing between us. From now our merge is eternal. Can't you see that you're lost? Can't you see that you're lost without me? I can feel the thunder that's breaking.
Okay, so it feels like, even though the time period looks wrong for what I'm thinking of, it almost seems like this is a very, 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 very young Sister Imperator, and this is kind of one of the reasons why she starts going and doing everything she does. That what she saw, like how we see the Papas dressed, the inspiration came from this kid. That he was like, oh, I'm going to do something dark. But then Sister Imperator sees it and it gets inspiration from that. And then every Papa who we have goes on to have the face, the painted, and with the ghouls and all that. So it's almost like this is a young Sister Imperator. This is like the origin story of her and her inspiration for doing, because we see in Dance Macabre that she was there scouting people out. So she's apparently been at this for quite some time. We think that the Papas are in control. No, they're kind of like representatives almost. She's the one who kind of stays in the not stays in the shadows, but she was at the place scouting for people, and that's where she sees Papa, and that's when he becomes the Papa. So she was there looking for people. So she's been at this for a while. So I really wouldn't be surprised if this was almost like showing way before where she got her inspiration from, why the Papas look a certain way. It's because she's seen the look already. She loves that look. And of course, am I wrong? Probably. But that's just what I'm getting from this. Because I'm seeing like this young child Sister Imperator getting this inspiration from like a costume that she's seen. Because surely she wasn't the only one to think about this whole dark anti-pope kind of figure. But she just took inspiration from it. But again, am I wrong? Probably.
I can see through the stars inside you. I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the stars inside you. you see that you're lost without me? I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the scars inside you. I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the scars inside you. I can see through the scars inside you. I can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. I can see through the scars inside you.
Okay, so definitely some Carrie vibes there, especially at the end with the powers and the abilities going on. I honestly was expecting blood at some point, like heads exploding, something. Um, Clearly there was a supernatural element. Like I said, it reminded me very much of like old '80s movies, or '70s, '80s. Um, but yeah, it it seems like I said, it just kind of seems like this is, you know, because we saw in Dance Macabre, it's based on the time period where how, how old Sister Imperator is and how old Papa is, and the time period and the way the party looked, it looked too modern. This was supposed to happen in what, the 60s, 70s, or whatever. Actually, no, they met what, the 60s. So the party itself didn't look right for the time period, but it's still basically telling the story of, you know. So we know that they like to take old situations and put them into a modern looking era. So is it kind of like an origin story for Sister Imperator? I don't know. Um, but that would be interesting. Young girl sees someone dressed up like one of the papas, suddenly becomes smitten with them and starts to dedicate their life towards spreading the word of Satan and converting people, and you know, and of course at this point, at least at the end, we realize that it's not actually just a costume, that this kid is somehow able to do things. So maybe this was where she got that whole "I'm going to dedicate my life," because again, we've seen her in the first time, like the first canonical time, she's at the party, at that party scouting for people, essentially. So we know this is pretty much her life's work. Um, so spread the word of Satan, Lucifer. Uh, but I love the visuals. I love that whole like I said, '80s, '70s, '80s like movie kind of filter they've got going on. Oh, take me, Lucifer. I love her parents, or the kid's parents. Give a little bit of a Shia LaBeouf feeling at the end with the getting up and clapping. Um, yeah, it's just the way they're dressed. It makes it seem like it's a much older in the past, but then you see other people with modern looking clothes on. It's like, what era is this in? And I think they tried to be as vague as possible with that, because they do want to blend old events with, the modern, that just kind of give it a better aesthetic. Although Square Hammer very much set look the time it was set in, very much looking like the 1920s, 1930s when silent pictures were a thing. So, but yeah, I'm sure it has also another deeper meaning, but that's just my interpretation of it. Am I wrong? Probably. And that's fine. Because you're not going to get the meaning of every single song the first time you hear it. I'm just saying what I think just from the first time viewing this. Um, but if there's an actual meaning to it, which there is, just let me know. I mean, and there's no reason to say, oh, you're stupid or this or that. You can't figure. Again, first time viewing, I'm trying to take in everything the first time. The first time, it's not so easy. Once you watch it again and again, you're not so focused on listening to it. Then it's easier to get what the message is about. But the first time viewing, you're taking everything, the visuals that are coming in, the audio coming in, everything just going on. You got a million things going in your mind at that moment. So, but that was just my interpretation of it. Kind of like I said, a young sister imperator who gets the not the inspiration now, but decides to follow the teachings of Lucifer, and after this kid that she sees, and dedicates her life to converting and preaching the gospel of Satan. Um, so, but yeah, that was Circe. Cirice. I said Circe because when you look at it, well, that's actually what I thought at first when I first saw the name. I thought it said Circe, which is, mythological figure, but it's Cirice, like Sir Reese, like Reese's. And again, Cirice. There's the podcast with the nameless ghoul saying, because the woman's like, "How do you pronounce it?" And they said, for the band, for the name of the song, it's Cirice. Um, like I said, I think it has another pronunciation, and it means church, which obviously fits with the whole theme of what they go for, but it's pronounced Sir Reese. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.